So if you go back to this video, my friend Tia posts something that is very similar to what I was posting today around Vlogmas, right? About there being spiritual warfare. It says some of the warfare isn't about you. It's about your bloodline. You're fighting what your mama didn't fight. You're breaking what your daddy passed down. You're praying through patterns that existed for generations. That's why it's heavy. That's why it's hard. But God trusts you to stop it. You're the interruption, the bloodline, in the bloodline. You're not just fighting for you, you're fighting for your legacy. I talk a lot about the term legacy, and I know a lot of people don't usually hear women talk about the term legacy, but legacy to me has so many layered meanings and masterful things, right? When we talk about our bloodline, when we talk about our legacy, when we talk about generational curses and generational trauma and all of these other things, these buzzwords that we hear a lot in our zeitgeist and conversations, what we're really missing a lot of the time is that the person who stands before the storm is oftentimes the one who is taking the biggest hits, right? On the front line of any war, those are the people who get shot at the most. Those are the people who die first. Those are the people who endure the most pain, trauma, and of course are given the biggest medals for valor and bravery. But oftentimes when you are just walking through the world trying to do the best you possibly can for yourself, your children, and what it is that you're doing in the world, there is going to be some sort of trauma and drama attached to it. When you are trying to do things differently than what you were shown, when you are trying to break down generational traumas, and when you are trying to steer the ship into away from the iceberg and not hit the same thing that your grandmother hit, your mother hit, your grandfather hit, your father hit, when you are trying to just get through the days and do things a little differently, when you are way far out over your skis, above and beyond what your mother did, what your father did, what you thought you were going to do, I oftentimes find myself recently asking God, what is it that you are trying to teach me in this season? What is it that you want me to learn in this season? How is it that I'm supposed to heal myself and heal others? And how is it that I'm supposed to protect myself and protect others? And why is it so heavy? What are you weighing me down for? What are you preparing me for? What are you burning away with the ashes that I am dealing with? And I will tell you, give me 1 second. I'm going to read you something. Okay, so this is the Prophet's devotional. My girl on here, Fee, hit me to this last year, and I probably should be reading it more. I'm not. But anyway, so it is in 1 Kings 19:11 through 13. And it says, "Go out and stand before me on the mountain," the Lord told him. And as Elijah stood there, the Lord passed by, and a mighty windstorm hit the mountain. And it was such a terrible blast that the rocks were torn loose, but the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, there was a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, there was a gentle whisper. He wrapped his face in his cloak and went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. When I read that, what I heard was every single hit that I am taking, hit after hit after hit after hit, drama after trauma after incident, after this, after that, after I climb over one hurdle, I fall into another ditch. And so and not in a literal sense, but a very metaphorical sense. Like, I have felt like this year has been just a whirlwind of a race to the end of the year. And this year, out of every year, I have felt like, my God, like, what are you preparing me for? What is it that you're trying to get me ready for? And whatever it is, God, I'm praying that you are preparing me well enough to be able to do that thing. And so this is me telling you right here and right now, I know it feels super duper heavy, but you are in the processing season of something. You are in the preparing season of something. You are in the listen to what he's telling you to do something. He's preparing you for something. And whatever it is that he is preparing you for, this one creator on here said it best. He said, I want developed faith. And whoo, boy, developed faith is a term that I used to tell people, I don't want to be a toddler Christian forever. What I'm looking to do is to be adult enough in my faith to be able to understand not the mysterious ways of God, but to be less cranky and whiny and more appreciative and grateful because I have a good life. I want you to hear me when I tell you that I have a great life. I am blessed beyond measure. I have been graciously given all kinds of graces that I probably did not deserve. But I can tell you that what God has put into my purview and what he has asked me to be a steward over, I want to steward that well. And so in my legacy, in my longing, in my travels, in my comings, in my goings, what I am grateful for is that I am coming to an end of a year. But I also want to understand that when I stand on the top of the mountain, I want to understand what God wants for me next. I hope that helps.